Not Nerd Podcast, episode 381, Hot Takes and Printed Cakes.
Welcome to the Not Nerd Podcast. I'm Nate Heath, and we are here to help you tech better. Here with me, as always, Mr. Dave Baylor.
Well, hello there, my friend. It's always good to see you and to hear you.
Yes, indeed.
For those out there who don't have the ability to see you,
yes,
they're missing out.
They are, which we might have news on that soon, so keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah, keep your ears open.
See more of us. Everybody's dreams coming true.
Are you going to zoom your camera out finally so I can see more of you?
Yes. Well, we are here to talk some technology, and we've got plenty of it today, so let's get into some follow-up. And I don't know if we were talking about, you said last week you were going to go to the movie theater, which you had not done for a while.
And I didn't do it.
Oh, whoa. So you still haven't been to a movie theater. Well, this might get you to do it. Apple to spend $1 billion with a B dollars to break into cinemas.
Wow. But the thing is I have Apple TV Plus, so why do I need to go to the cinemas? And just a short aside, I thought this was funny. I don't see as well close up as I used to be, and it says Apple to spend $18 to break into cinemas. And I realize that's a B, not an 8.
B. Oh, yes,
so,
with my short form there. But
yeah.
So my thought on this, because we also got the news, local news this last week, that Tigard Cinemas is shutting down, which that was like one of Lloyd Center and Tigard, like back in my high school days, were the new Regal theaters that were amazing.
They were
next
the bee's
level.
Knees back then.
And I think I saw all of the first 3 Star Wars, the 4th, how that works.
I saw one with you, the prequels.
Yeah. We would go for the opening night and stand in line, so I have a lot of good memories of that theater. But Dave, as you are I would consider a movie theater professional, unlike me, Apple making this move feels like Apple spending $1 billion to get into terrestrial radio.
Well, it's one of those things that they're really trying to build their brand.
Yeah.
And can you imagine going into the theater and seeing a giant Apple logo on the screen? Yeah. So it's building their brand. Brand advertising is effective in getting people just to know about you, and maybe they're going to buy your computer. Oh, or I have an iPod that's from those guys, and what's going on? So part of it could be linked to an advertising marketing piece. But, I mean, if they really want to be taken seriously, and according to, who's that small-time director who did, like, Raiders of the Lost Ark and E.T.?
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that guy.
Anyway, he's all about, you got to be in the theater to get an Oscar type of thing, so maybe they're trying to add some street cred.
Well, and it's not like they're not going to get anything out of it. And, they, the Apple TV Plus stuff, they do some good production value there. They've got some critically acclaimed shows, and they've even done some movies and stuff. So I partially joke just because we've had multiple theaters in our area close down recently.
It is sad.
It is sad.
Really sad. I do not like it one bit.
Yes, but we'll see Apple in the theaters if we can find one to go to.
I know, we're gonna have to fly to California to watch a movie.
Yes. Dave, I just had a random thought the other night, and we are now officially in spring, and each year we do this thing, and we've kind of switched it up over the years, but our spring cleaning app cleanup on our phone. But I did just think it would be fun to go on our phones and see how many apps you and I have, and listeners at home, you can play along. Just go into the Settings app and then into General. And at the very top is About. And when you go in there, and if you're like me, it might take a little while to load.
And even though you put this in the show notes, this is news to me because I didn't read that portion of the show notes.
Yes. So. I didn't have a link, so you knew there wasn't anything you needed to read. So, Dave, would you like to go first, or should I this year with our grand total?
Well, I can go first here. The applications that I have on my iPhone 13 Pro Max with a capacity of 250 gigabytes is, drumroll, 447 applications.
Ooh, that's good.
I need to whittle that down a bit.
Yeah, and
I use about 6 of them.
I need to look. Every year I say, I'm going to make a spreadsheet of what we say every year so that we can look back. Dave, am only at 408. So compared to you, I'm basically Todd Workoven over here.
Holy cow! How did I get so many more than you?
I don't know. If I remember correctly from last year, we talked about this and we're like, let's see how many we can delete off. Now, I did get a 512 gigabyte phone this year, so I have plenty of storage. It's not an issue. I've got everything in folders. I was actually doing some organizing the other night of compressing down, putting stuff that I'm not going to need very often in folders and putting stuff that I use all the time closer to on the home screen or on the second page. But if I remember correctly, we both kind of came back and said, I might need these apps. It's not really causing a problem. Why would I? The only problem that it causes is when I get a new phone and then I have to transfer and wait for all the apps to load. But even that's not that big of an issue.
It's 1 or 2 years when that happens, and it's only for a half hour or so.
Yeah, so I think maybe the thing that I should more appropriately work consistently on cleaning up is my photos. I'm guessing I have you beat there, Dave. What do you got for photos in there?
Well, remember, many of my photos are still in Google Photos and not in Apple Photos. And so let's see here. Same place, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Let's see. Go down to Photos. I have 12,686. And I'm going to guess yours is north of 50.
58,650.
Wow.
So yeah, that's one area, because one of the things, we've got the Apple One family plan where we have 2 terabytes of storage, and I've got Chelsea on there, and then Isla's device. She does have her device with stuff, and she takes way too many screenshots. She's got everything on every video or game she likes. She has to take a screenshot of it, but she gets that from her parents. And then I have my parents on there as well. So it's like eventually it would get up to that 2 terabytes when you have 58,000 photos.
I got close because I have friend of the family, Val, Sam, Abby, and me, and I used to use iCloud to store everything. Media, and I've been slowly moving that over to my Synology. So there have been 2 times in the past couple months where everybody on my plan gets a notice, you're about out of storage, and like, what does this mean? I'm like, that's me, don't worry, I'm moving crap out.
And I am looking at the iCloud little colored bar there, and my storage between photos and docs, because I also sync a bunch of docs from my computer there, my portion of that bar is almost equal to the other 4 people in my family plan.
Oh, yeah.
So
definitely.
But yeah, so anyways, I just wanted to bring that up, check in, see, for all you listeners out there that say, hey, what credibility do these guys have for talking about apps and stuff? We both have over 400 apps on our phone.
And I'm sure we've launched every one, not that we use them all the time.
Yes, but we've at least checked them out and know what they are. Like every once in a while I'll go, what was that app again? Because it has some weird name, and I open it and I go, oh yeah, that's the one I downloaded where you can't do anything unless you pay a subscription.
Right. Well, I was going to scroll down real quick and go like, I don't even know what this one is, but I have yet to find one that I don't know what it is. I know what all of them are. I have some old banking apps on there I need to get rid of.
Nice. Yes. Yeah, you probably don't need accounts for banks you don't use anymore. Correct. And that kind of stuff. So, just a good reminder, scroll through, do a little spring cleaning digitally, which I'm not good at, being a self-proclaimed digital hoarder.
Well, shall we say next week that we're going to take apps away and see if we can
get rid of some? I just have such a hard time with that.
Should we give ourselves goals? Should we see if we can get rid of 10% of our apps or 5% or something like that?
Yeah, let's go for 10%. So that'd be, let's say 40 apps. Let's see if we can get rid of 40 apps.
Okay. Well, we have a different number, and so the percentage is going to be slightly different. But we can just go with 40.
What were you at? 447?
Yeah.
And I was at 408. So I'm going to put that in the notes so we can look at it next week. Well, we were talking just last week about another round of Amazon layoffs, and one of the things that we're going to be losing through those layoffs is a site that I believe we've probably mentioned at some point in the podcast called DPReview, which I think stands for digital photography.
It is. And this made me sad because I've known about DPReview on and off, over the years. I see the logo, I'll read a thing. But now that I've got my new camera and I'm getting back into photography, I found the two guys, and I can't remember their names, the Canadian guys they did the DP review on YouTube, and they're very entertaining to watch, and they have lots of information. Well, that was like a month ago. I found these guys and I'm watching their video because I found them by searching for my camera, and they did a review, and I'm like, I'm going to subscribe to these guys. And then fast forward a couple months and it's like, oh, DP Review's closing down. I'm like, so? And they're like, what? Oh, those guys were DP Review?
Oh, man.
Dang. So they're going to be moving to another something Petapixel or something like that.
Yeah, I figured that these guys, and it's been around for 25 years. This site, and really,
did I cause it to go under by subscribing to their videos?
Probably. That's probably it. Jeff Bezos was like, oh, Dave's in, we got to cut this.
See ya.
Yeah, but really, from all accounts I've heard, the gold standard of camera review websites, and Amazon had purchased them. I didn't mention that before. That's why I say Jeff, the Amazon layoffs, but Amazon had purchased DPReview at some point, and then with their cuts, they've just decided that they don't need it, which, I mean, really probably makes sense for the Amazon platform, and hopefully the content will live on, and these guys and whoever else involved will be able to start something up and keep it, or why not just spin it off and give it up?
A lot of people were saying, what would it cost just to leave it? Turn it on, just leave it on. So
an AWS server, they own the company, just leave it.
I mean, it would probably cost them $50 a month just to leave the website there. So the challenge here is, why did Amazon feel compelled to buy this and then shut it down later? They also bought IMDb. And it's still going, but it's a far cry from what it used to be. There's all this ads in there, and everything points to Amazon. So were they trying to get people to go to DP Review to funnel people to Amazon to buy cameras and lenses?
I mean, that would make a whole lot of sense. It would be a natural marketing arm for all the camera stuff. And, another point is, even though you just bought one, a lot less people are buying digital cameras. So it's probably, Amazon can look at that and say, well, we're not selling these like we were when they bought it in 2007. When the iPhone was released and digital cameras were everything back then.
Yeah, I suppose.
So that probably has some of it too. So too bad.
Too bad, so sad.
Yes. Some interesting data on smartphone market. So we talk a lot about, Samsung and Apple. And one of the things that I always try to bring up is premium phones and then just smartphones. And this article from counterpointresearch.com, one of Dave's favorite sites that he's never heard of.
I've never heard of it, but I sure like to have a counterpoint of view.
Yes. Premium market captures more than half of global smartphone revenue in 2022 for the first time. So we're talking revenue, not units sold, but 55% of smartphone sales were premium handsets, as opposed to like the ones we were talking about the other week with the Samsung, $50 things that
you get it free with. With your phone line, you get that free and a toaster.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other interesting piece of this is the smartphone market share for the premium segment. Apple has 75% of the market share for the premium smartphone market. 75% worldwide.
It has certainly changed, because I remember just a few years ago it was, Samsung sells way more. Apple's not a monopoly because everybody...
Well, and I think they were counting all phones on that, because they do have a chart of Apple versus Samsung, and Apple's always had the lead in premium phones, which that's the part that you never hear. It's like Samsung sells 10 times as many phones as Apple, and it's like, yes, remember, they're $50 phones, not premium phones.
People are buying them as blankets for the homeless population.
Yes. Well, we do have I don't know if we've noticed, but AI is everywhere. And so a couple of AI stories from the week.
This artificial insemination that we've been talking about?
Yes, that's the one. It's everywhere. And if you click on that first link, you'll see some llamas or alpacas there. But Adobe...
Are they creating
yes.
herds?
Yes.
Maybe I shouldn't have made that joke because people really get confused. I think you're talking about artificial intelligence.
Yes,
okay.
yes. Which I heard on a podcast this week. Somebody was saying, we're really not at artificial intelligence yet. It is more this machine learning stuff, but we can call it AI.
Well, they use them interchangeably, ML and AI, but machine learning is more accurate.
Yes. So Adobe announced this week that they are launching their own AI image generator to go along with their application. It's called Adobe Firefly.
Yeah. And I saw this, and the difference is their models are trained with their legitimate Adobe-owned stock video and audio and imagery, so that there's no copyright stuff. They're not stealing stuff from Getty Images. It's all stuff that they own.
Yes. So that's very interesting. Then another one, I found this interesting. Roblox, which we've talked about before, they're adding new AI coding and art tools to their game builder stuff. And Roblox, my daughter plays a ton of it. I play some with her. It's just this huge where anybody can create a game, and to be able to add this AI coding and AI art generation, because that was one of the things for me. It's like, man, because Isla said one time, she's like, I don't like this on this game. Can we make a game that's better and does this thing right? I'm like, that's not easy to do. And great thinking, but now with Roblox, maybe we need to start making Roblox games if you can use AI to kind of create. And there was an app I saw on another podcast a couple of weeks ago where you can create a character, and then it'll create different versions of that character for like a gaming, if you're building a game. So it could kind of keep a consistent character to create different stuff through, and kind of that continuity that you would be looking for, instead of just show me Trump sitting on a bicycle, random AI image generation. But
are you not concerned at all that young people, including your daughter, are going to be interfacing with AI generated art through a kids program? It sounds like there's opportunities for so much to go wrong.
Yes.
Inappropriate imagery sent to millions of kids that the programmers are like, we have no idea how this became corrupted,
Yes, and I am very observant of what she does on Roblox, and they do have some, age gating for her account on there. But it seems like everything is really every once in a while there'll be something that's scary, a monster or something that's just kind of like, oh, I don't like it. But it seems like they have some stuff in there. But again, with this AI stuff, who knows where we're going? We're going there fast.
Yikes.
But hey, Dave, another good announcement from NVIDIA. You might be interested in this. They have some new tools, and you can rent a cloud server from them.
Will allow me to play video games?
An AI supercomputer. And, really, you can get it for $37,000 a month for a single node.
Well, for that amount of money, I should be able to play video games.
Yeah, you would hope
I should be able to play all the video games.
Yeah. So they're
Holy cow.
DGX cloud instances. So it just crazy. But, for huge enterprise type stuff, they're probably looking at this going, yep, we're in. But
yeah, and I think I saw somewhere that NVIDIA had built the tools for some of this AI stuff on the back end for it to do what it needed to do. Yeah, so NVIDIA. Who would have thought that a graphics card company would
be renting $38,000 per month? That's per month.
Yikes. I got to figure out what people are going to do with this, because this is crazy.
Yeah, and it does say that you can spend $200,000 on one of these servers.
It offers 120 times more AI-powered video performance than CPUs, combined with 99% better energy efficiency. Well, I don't care about the energy if
they're hosting it.
Yeah, $37,000. You better just be covering that bill.
Yes, indeed. Things that we will never deal with. But things that we will deal with, Dave's Pro Tip of the Week.
Now, this is an area, this is just a quick one, and I think we've discussed it before. Oftentimes, I'll go to grab this massive giant phone, and I'm you know what, I'm like 5'10", 5'11", or whatever, so I'm like an average size human being.
Yeah.
And when I go to grab this phone sometimes, and I've got something else in my hand, I need to text my wife, and I'm typing, and I need to hit return, it's like my thumb doesn't quite reach over to the little arrow. Well, I was reminded by a podcast or something, or some video I saw, that you can alter the way the keyboard works on your iOS devices. So if you will, please go into a text message, Nate, and I'm going to go into one that I have with you.
Yeah.
And I click inside the text message bubble, and the keyboard pops up. And like I said, it's like really hard for me to reach over to the letter P or to the return character. Tap and hold the globe icon. And again, we've talked about some of the things found under this menu, but down at the very bottom, there's a left, middle, and right keyboard icon. And if you click the one that points towards your hand, it slides all the characters of that keyboard towards your hand. So it's not quite a half keyboard, but it's a mini kind of keyboard. It squishes everything. So now that I've done that, I have it in my left hand. I'm a lefty. I can easily reach all those characters. And if you don't want it there anymore, you just push it to the middle and it goes back to normal. And it kind of goes back to normal if you go out and come back in. It like defaults back to the center. But if you're carrying a bunch of stuff and you have to text people with one hand or whatever, it can save your life. It can make it so much easier to keep you from dropping your phone, which I've done several times trying to reach that button clear across the way.
That is a good reminder on that. I had forgotten about that. It was on the iPad a lot longer where you can do the smaller keyboards and stuff. And every once in a while, Isla will get hers messed up and she's like, what happened to my keyboard? But it's a good reminder on the phone. And I will give, reminds me of another bonus pro tip related to the keyboard that Apple for the last couple of years has had, I forget this all the time, the swipe built in. So you don't have to tap, because that's another thing with kind of the fumbling of the phone is I'll be like, if I tap it, I might drop it. But doing the swipe, it works pretty good. You just run your hand over it and it'll give you a word. And you don't have to be exact. It'll start figuring out with the voice or text prediction stuff on there. And
if you're a super duper power user, you can use like the left or right-handed keyboard and swipe at the same time, and you're just unstoppable. Well, let us move on to our takes of the week. We'll start off with a fun one. Dave, you've got your 3D printer, but I don't think you can do this one. Ooh, man, this is amazing.
Yes.
Now, I'm the type of guy that when I go into fast food restaurants and various gas stations, these high quality food
establishments.
Places. These establishments. I'm always a little concerned about the cleanliness of the soda machines and all the stuff. It's like, what's up in that tube? It's been growing for 6 months or whatever. What you're showing me in this picture is a 3D printed cake where they're extruding frosting and batter and stuff out into a shape of a cake or whatever. I'm gonna hesitate a little bit and say, who's keeping track of the cleanliness of these type of things?
I don't know, but I will go on the record saying it's probably better than the gas station, the 7-Eleven pizza area.
I saw a guy post he said the title was never buy a burrito at a gas station, and he opened it up and there was just mold all over the inside.
God.
Oh, yum.
Well, back to this one. They retrofitted a 3D printer and they can do up to 7 different ingredients to 3D print a cake. And speaking of robotics, this reminds me, I was at the mall with Isla the other day delivering some Girl Scout cookies to a friend of mine. But we were walking around at Washington Square Mall. They now have one of the kiosks in the middle is a robotic barista.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to say it's the hamburger one.
No, yeah, that would be good. But it's like 4 little robots in this kiosk, and it'll make your coffee for you.
Oh, wow. My daughter works at that mall, I think. She's going to be out of a job at Starbucks.
Yeah. She should go check that out and get some. I did not get any robotic coffee. I should go back and do a PDX fast foodie video on that / not nerd co-op.
Support my daughter and just go buy one from the coffee
shop. Man.
Anyway, this did you look at the video on this page?
I did not watch the video.
Well, hit mute and go ahead and play it. It's a time lapse of this thing. It doesn't look very appetizing, I got to tell you.
Yeah.
Imagine someone having like one of those big frosting bags full of mixed up cake. Like you cook a cake.
Yeah.
And then you mix it up so that it's all mushy and it can be squeezed out of a plastic bag.
Yeah. And then, the first print, is definitely bad. But then the successful one does look better. But it is, it's 3D printed, and it's not the quality of your 3D printer with plastic.
But it's just mushed food congealed into a shape. It loses all the characteristics of a pie or a cake or something.
Which I have a theory that I want to test out for PDX Fast Foodie, but I'm not going to get into that now about mushed food.
Okay.
So we'll save.
It's for babies and old people. Is all I gotta say.
Well, that's what I want to test out. But anyways, 3D printed cake coming to a bakery near you. If you don't want cake that looks like cake,
I hope not. I'll stick with nothing bunt cake.
Hey, those are delicious.
This week podcast is brought to you by Nothing Bunt Cake in Tualatin, Oregon.
Yes.
Let's go on down and get a very expensive cake.
Yes, indeed. And Dave, this is just your takes today of stuff you're into. The next one, drones. Mm-hmm. And I thought this was interesting and genius. Ikea adds stock counting drones to more of its stores. So they've got these little, exactly what you'd expect to be a drone, and it just flies through and does inventory count, which...
Brilliant.
You had talked before about like with farming use cases for drones where it's like, oh, there's something going on in the back 40. Well, I could just fly the drone out, check on it, or check crops, whatever.
It would save so much time and money. I mean, even with a four-wheeler, it's kind of fun to drive. It's like, I've been driving for 15 minutes here. This isn't a lot of fun. I could be doing something better with my time, like sleeping.
Found time, but as somebody that spent several years in logistics and inventory control, I can tell you that having something like this, especially for an IKEA warehouse, just the size of it, and to be able to quickly count things.
Whatever happened to the RFID tags in every box?
Oh yeah,
that you could just wave a wand over the box, or there was a giant sensor that encompassed the entire warehouse so that you always knew what was there. What happened to that?
And I wonder if they're doing some of that with this stuff, because that would be another good use case for this. If it could do the automated RFID scanning and just
I suppose so.
Get a count. But
it looks like they're using cameras and barcodes.
Yes. Very interesting stuff.
It's neat. I wish I had a drone company so that I could sell these technologies to industry.
Yes. Well, we had a couple takes there, but then we've got a couple in the security and privacy realm, because that's the world we live in. The first one, the aCropalypse has happened, Dave.
I don't know anything about this. What's going on here?
So there was a bug found in Windows and Android where allowed screenshots to be uncropped. Which is not a good thing. So let's say you've got, a screenshot of your bank account or something, and you crop it to send somebody the information you need to. And then there was the ability to uncrop this photo and get the full data, and very much not good stuff. Windows has rolled out a fix, and I think Android is, but again, when we talk about Android phones, there's a lot of Android phones out there that will not get this update.
They'll never get it. This confuses me a little bit because, if you use Apple Photos or even Google Photos, you can make adjustments and changes. And what it does is really just writes metadata on top of that photo of where you want to crop it, what you want the colors to be if you're brightening and darkening. And you can always revert to the original photo. But it was my understanding that when you share a photo, it flattens everything into like a JPEG, and you lose all that metadata about the photo, and you're just getting the pixels. And so I'm a little confused as to how this is actually working. Maybe Windows photos and screenshots don't work that way. Maybe they are just metadata that shows where the crop should be. And maybe it's trivial to undo that and get the original image. But it seems like they should be flattening every image that you export for this very purpose. I mean, who could have predicted that someone could undo the image if you send out the full image with all the content? What were they thinking?
Yeah, so it does say images impacted by aCropalypse, as it's been named, often can't be completely recovered, but they can be substantially reconstructed. Aaron's provided examples. They've got a link to that. He's one of the guys that was in on this, including one in which he was able to recover his credit card number after he attempted to crop it out of a photo.
That just makes no sense.
In short, there is a population of photos out there that can contain more information than they should, specifically information that someone intentionally tried to remove.
Now, there was a story, this was probably 10 years ago, a popular web journalist, YouTube personality, a female, posted a picture of herself to like Discord or something like that. You know, they have like the round profiles in her face or whatever. Well, it kept the entire image, and some people were able to get it, and I think she was topless when she took it, and it was like a scandal. There was a story that checked in with her later about it, and she's like, she thought it was funny. She didn't care. It wasn't like one of those, I'm going to have scars for the rest of my life type of thing. But you do have to be careful with stuff like that, where you upload a photo and you think you're cropping it on their servers, or they're keeping the original photo the whole time. So
and so and it does say, you know, so it's not simply you crop a photo, you click a button, you get the whole thing back. There's just some extra data there that shouldn't be. And it does say that, like, if you post it to Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, they compress their photos to get them as small as possible. So it wouldn't be possible for that. But like they mentioned Discord, and I saw an example of that on Twitter where, you know, you post an image to Discord, somebody downloads it, and they're able to reconstruct some of this stuff. So hopefully that'll be fixed.
Fixing it.
Yeah, it's a really weird, just odd thing that, again, not good.
No, that's not a good thing.
And speaking of not good, there was a flaw in ChatGPT that they posted a large warning on top of their site that some people might have seen that says, "We continue to roll out restoration of ChatGPT service. Users are not able to retrieve conversation history at this time. We're working to restore this feature." And the problem was that people were able to see some other people's ChatGPT conversation history.
It wasn't your history, it was someone else's.
Yeah, so definitely a bug there, and I think they're blaming this one on some open source software that they used for some of that. And
blame it on open source.
Yeah, so you see some other, you know, all of a sudden there's a bunch of stuff in your history that's in a different language, and you're like, wait a second, I don't think I was doing any Chinese chat conversations.
Unless, of course, you're from China or you know how to speak Chinese. But.
Yes, indeed. And then one last one. This one, you know, everybody, we've said it for years. Everybody says, don't plug a USB stick in, you know, a random one into your computer. It could have malware. It could take information from you. Well, they've stepped up their game a little bit.
This is crazy.
Yes. In the port city of Guayaquil, journalist Lenin Artidia, why did I decide to read this?
You nailed it.
Yeah, of the Ecuvisa private TV station received an envelope containing a pen drive which exploded when he inserted it into a computer.
Well, hold on a second. So this is something, one, journalists can be targeted, so that's a little sketchy. But how do they get information from different sources? And you know, somebody's got like a hot take or photos. It's like gonna of like the president doing something crazy or whatever. I mean, they're getting information and they have to look at it and figure out what it is. And so it's not crazy to me that it's like, oh, an anonymous source sent me some information.
This is going to be the scoop that's going to.
Yeah. But at the same time, as a journalist, you've got to be very careful because of wackos out there who are like, you wrote an article about someone I like, and so now I'm going to kill you or whatever.
Yeah, at least 5 news stations, the linked article from that article, at least 5 news stations receive letter bombs in Ecuador. One explodes. Clear message to science journalists. So yeah, they just put a small load
Don't do science.
Of explosives that once it was plugged into USB, it got power from the USB and it burnt his hand a little bit and caused a little bit of damage. But it's not going to. Well,
it didn't blow the building up.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder. There's got to be an internet YouTube channel that could figure out how much ordnance they could put into a USB drive, like some C4 or something, to see how big the explosion might be.
Yes, and apparently this is, they're thought to have used RDX, also known as T4, which I only know C4 from the movies.
Too. Yeah.
But
was there an A and B4 also?
I don't know. They're all the way up to T4, so.
Yikes.
But yeah, not good.
That's crazy. So please be wary. And also, let's say you're at some CES or some big electronics convention and everybody's like, here's a bunch of USB sticks with our software and everything. You take it home, you stick it in your computer, and you've just introduced malware on your computer or something like that. So be careful out there.
Be careful. Well, our bonus odd take of the week, if you believe that we do actually have an international space station, then you might believe that these photos in this link from the Atlantic are actually from it.
They look like chat or AI generated.
Dolly, Midjourney
images.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, create a picture of Hawaii's big island from space.
Yeah, I mean, they actually kind of do. But I believe that it's up there and have actually seen the dot go by in the sky with my eyes, unless the entire sky is just a giant screen that we're observing.
That was just me with a laser pointer, Dave.
Yeah, there
gotcha.
it was.
But no,
you got me.
Amazing pictures, which just give a really cool perspective of this globe that we are on, and some cool pictures of the space station as well, which, you kind of forget that this thing's up there all the time and there's people living up there. And
it is crazy to think. And I mean, it's 2023. Why can't I be up there?
Yeah.
It's getting cheaper, of course, but I'm sure they don't have room up there for me.
Well, yes.
You kind of have to be doing a job when you're up there. I keep thinking I could go up there, but if you do go up there, they're going to put you to work.
Yeah. We need somebody to go to the space station. We want to see the effects of scrolling Reddit and playing vintage video game emulators in space.
What does surfing the web all day do to your brain in space?
Exactly. But yeah, they've got quite a few pictures here and just really cool stuff to look through and check out.
And before we move on, the very last picture on that page, number 28 that I see here, cosmonaut and Expedition 68 flight engineer Anna Kikina. I mean, cut your hair.
Wow.
She's got the biggest giant ball hair that I've ever seen.
Yes.
But maybe she's been up there so long it's grown.
Yes, but
I'm practically bald, but were I a female, I think I would cut it very short because, man, you'd think
that is out of control. But also look at that lens she's using. So she's got there's kind of a small window port there, and she's got probably, a 2-foot lens
it is
to
enormous.
Take these photos.
That's great. I wish I could see what camera she's using. Is it the Sony ZV-E10?
I think it's a Canon M50.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
It's probably Nikon or something.
Yes.
The official camera of the ISS.
True.
Nikon.
That would be a good sponsorship to have.
I suppose.
Yes. Another good sponsorship to have would be our picks of the week.
So in line with my new purchase, with all of your guys are going to be hearing about things I purchased for this camera for months.
I love it.
I came across, because I'm going to be traveling in a week or so, and I wanted to take my camera, not the video camera, and I wanted to take a tripod, not the giant tripod. And so I bought the camera, and I bought you've heard this before, the SmallRig. Oh, wait, I should breathe in. I've learned my lesson.
Yes.
Let's see. It is the SmallRig 72-inch video tripod monopod with fluid head aluminum camera tripod, 360-degree panorama ball head for travel video, live streaming, vlogging, adjustable height from 16.5 to 72 inches. I just made it without dying.
Yes.
So this is, as you learned from the title, a tripod.
Yeah.
And it's pretty lightweight. It's not some fancy carbon fiber tripod or anything like that. It's just a standard tripod. It folds up pretty neat and pretty small. But unlike other camera tripods, it doesn't just have a ball head on the top. It's got a fluid pan tilt head for like a video camera. And so coupled with my Sony camera that does video, I can use it to film things quite nicely.
Yeah.
Another feature is that one of the legs comes off and can be used as a monopod, which is very handy.
Yeah.
So I can imagine myself taking just the one leg out hiking. I can actually use it as a hiking stick, and then put my camera on it and take a few photos and take my camera back off with my little quick release plate, so I don't have to screw it on there every time or whatever. So that's the SmallRig camera tripod, and it costs about $120, which $100 is what it takes to get a decent tripod. They're $80 to $100. Anything below that's going to be Amazon basic territory. Did cost a little bit, but man, it's like so adjustable. I don't know if you've seen pictures of these, but you can adjust each leg independently, up and down like a spider leg, and you can do you can remove the center core out of the tripod, flip it upside down, put it into the bottom of the tripod, and hang your camera with the tripod above for some really low shots. This would be more like for photography. If there's like a toadstool or a frog or a centipede or something you want to take a picture of with a tripod, you can set it all up and then do your burst photo or whatever. It's very versatile. Or if you're on a bunch of rocks, this leg can be sticking out 90 degrees. This one can be straight down. This one can be at 45 degrees. And you can still get a very level tripod. So great for adventuring.
Very nice.
And you know me, I'm out there every day.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Well, that is very cool. Don't tempt me to buy another tripod. I don't.
You can borrow mine and see what you think.
Yes. Well, my pick of the week, I was looking back and I couldn't find my previous version of this as a pick of the week, but I know we talked about it on the podcast a couple years, and we've mentioned it since then. And I kind of teased this out a couple weeks ago.
You did.
But I purchased the Pixel, an Android phone, Pixel 6a.
But Nate, you hate Android phones, and you think they're the worst thing ever.
Yes,
Not true. You love technology no matter what it is.
Yes,
They're all your little children.
And I much prefer the iPhone, but I do at times need to do some testing on Android for various stuff I'm working on. And I had the Pixel 3a previously.
This is a huge leap forward.
Yeah, so it's three better.
It's three
so
better.
The 6a. So the A Pixel phones are their kind of the iPhone SE. It's their cheaper one.
Well, and what they do is they will do the 6, and then 6 or 8 months later they'll come out with the 6A, which is hey, we found a way to make this cheaper.
Yes.
So it's still a very capable phone. It's just kind of the budget model.
Yes. And so it's got one of the interesting things that I don't have on the iPhone is it has an in-screen fingerprint sensor,
which is very cool.
And then, Android, I've learned to use it.
You can make it. Here's what you do: is you make everything look just like an iPhone.
Yeah, I could make a theme that looks like it, and it does have the selfie camera is just a little pinhole. On the thing on the back,
which I prefer.
Yes, it has. This just has 2 cameras now. Some of the other Pixel phones, they've gone to the 3 camera setup. But a very capable phone. Dave, do you want to guess how much I paid for the Pixel 6a?
I think you paid $489.
Whew, no way. $299.
That cheap?
Yes, on Amazon Prime, unlocked. That's why I pulled the trigger on it, because I was like, for $300, my Pixel 3a, it's not getting Android updates anymore. It's a little dated, and it is nice at times to have a second. If I want to film something, on my iPhone or showing my iPhone, I can use the Pixel. But the camera is very good. Now, I was looking at the Pixel official Google Pixel 6a page, and it's It has the magic eraser feature, which we
yes.
now all have in Google Photos, as long as you pay for something. But no, it's just really good cameras. It's got good night mode. Really, if you wanted an Android phone or needed an Android phone, one of the advantages with the Pixels, you're not getting all the Samsung bloatware.
Garbage, You're not getting the fake pictures of the moon stuff. Have you seen that controversy?
Oh, yeah. I think I had a link. I don't know why I didn't put it in the notes. That
I actually saw one in real life. A guy, we were out at the beach at this getaway thing, and he's like, look at the pictures of the moon I took last week or whatever. And I'm just like, those are suspiciously good.
They were basically taking pixels of the moon and putting it in your picture of the moon to make it look better.
Yeah, like clip art.
Yes, but no, I will say this, the Pixel 6a, it's about the same size. It's interesting. It's slightly narrower and a little bit taller than my iPhone 14 Pro normal size.
And it's about the same thickness, although your camera bump sticks out a little bit.
Yes, and I did get just a cheap plastic case on this to protect a little bit.
So you have a case on your throwaway trash Android, but not your...
I'm just realizing that on my expensive phone I don't have a case, but on this other one, the reason is this one will just be in my backpack and kind of floating around.
About.
Yeah, I throw it in the trunk of my car or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, the Pixel 6a, very good. So if you're interested in either of those picks, you can head over to notpicks.com. And as I said last week, I am late in giving out the award, and we did get some reviews this last week. Mm-hmm. Now, they seem to use some aliases and maybe some outdated email addresses to leave these reviews.
Are they trying to double up on the reviews?
Well, I think they were just...
David Baylor 1 at Gmail, yes. David Baylor 2 at Gmail.
I'll give you a hint and see if you can guess who this person was. One of the emails they used was vendor@drbot.com.
There is no way they still have access to that. That's hilarious.
Do you have a guess who might have used that email address?
Do you have another email address that I could kind of triangulate this and still guessing?
The other one, it's just a Gmail address that I don't think would give any clues.
Okay. Well, I think it's probably our friend from the land down under, Elliot.
Yes, it is. And the reason I found
And I think he texted us this week, too.
Yeah, he was like, I didn't hear any discussion of product reviews. So that was another giveaway. But, and I also looked, I'm a peek behind the curtain. It gives you an IP address of where they submitted it from, and you can look up a general area. And it does show me that it was from Australia. So, Elliot, congratulations. You are like 3.5 years overdue on getting a gift pack from Not Nerd for your Patreon support and just being an all-around cool guy. But we'll be sending you that selfie stick, and I think we might throw some extras in the box since we have to get it all the way down to Melbourne, Australia.
Don't give it away. That's such a small community.
Yes.
No. Yeah, there's some things. Surely there's some things we can throw in there.
Yeah, we will. You got a new clock from the bins. You've got a VCR behind you.
It's all kinds of stuff.
We're gonna have a container ship going to Elliot down there. But no, thank you so much for those reviews. Yes, let us know what you want. If you want some Girl Scout cookies. But yes, Elliot, thank you so much for going and leaving some reviews. I will get another giveaway up there soon. But yeah, we keep adding new picks on there, so you can find if you need gifts, if you just want to spend some money on yourself, if you need a solution to a problem, we've got plenty of them there. So go over to notpicks.com, and anytime you shop on Amazon, please go to notpicks.com first and click on through.
And if you do win one of our prizes, you can rest assured that you're going to get some Not Nerd stickers. And why don't we throw in some business cards for the Not Nerd podcast so that people who may be living in Australia can hand those out to their... Let's say they go to church or something, and
the offering plate.
Well, I'm thinking maybe they're the usher, and they can just hand one to everybody as they go by.
The greeting team, or if you're in the outback wrestling some wallabies, you can get them hooked on the podcast.
Punching some kangaroos.
Yes, no, and it did get me thinking again. We need to get some guests back on the podcast. We need to get. It's been years since Elliot was on from his hot tub, and some of the other people we've had on. We need to get some more people on the show. But thanks again, Elliot, for leaving some reviews.
I did receive a note from our engineer that we probably should avoid having hot tub conversations.
Yes,
Our audio
yes.
engineer doesn't think that that's probably a great idea.
Yes, well, we might have a future pick of the week that I just purchased that would help with that audio quality.
Very good.
Well, with that, we will wrap up this episode. Thank you so much for listening. Share it with a friend. Share those business cards once you win a prize and we get around to shipping you your thing so everyone can get out there and tech better.
Well, for that
I don't know. But if I
something back there clicking. I don't like to hear that sound when my hard drive is right there.
Yeah.
I'll just ignore it.
Yeah, probably fine.